The meeting is being live streamed. So get it, got it.
You don't need to do anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got it.
You don't want to leave the move. You're alive.
Okay. Yeah. You're listening to the new WCEG network on WCEGTalkRadio.com, or you can watch us live on Smart TV, YouTube, and LinkedIn on the WCEG network, or Facebook and Twitter, WCEG Talk Radio. The topics and opinions of those on the show and the host are not WCEG network. Thank you for your continued support. Good afternoon, everybody. I am William Bill Edwards, the host for this show of WCEG. Our show is called Wisdom Wednesdays. And on today, we're having a topic called Education at its Best. And we will be speaking for the next hour with some of the most outstanding educators that we have in Fulton County school system. On our panel tonight, we have Dr. Mike Looney, Superintendent of Fulton County Schools, Miss Denise Brown, Principal, Love T. Nolan Elementary School, Miss Miranda Freeman, Principal of Sandtown Middle School, Dr. Jason Stamper, Principal of Banneker High School, and Mr. Jarvis Adams, Principal of Westlake High School. Thanks each and every one of you for being with us today. And let me begin by asking each and every one of you to take just a minute to introduce yourselves. Let's start with Dr. Looney.
Well, thank you so much for having me on today's show. I appreciate our school leaders being in attendance as well. The truth of it is they do the magic, and I just get to sit behind the scenes and support their work. I'm Dr. Mike Looney. I'm the superintendent of schools here in Fulton County. I'm in my 4th year of service, and I will tell you, it's been a very pleasurable and exciting ride. We've gone through a lot this last several years, but thanks to our teachers, our students and families, and our school leaders, we weathered much of the storm, and good days are ahead here in Fulton County Schools.
Thank you so much, Dr. Looney. Let's go to Dr. Denise Brown, Love T. Nolan.
Good evening, everybody, and former Mayor Edwards. Thank you for having us as a part of this panel. Dr. Looney, good evening to you as well. It's an honor to be able to be here to talk about all the great things that are going on in our South Fulton County schools. So this is my 3rd year, starting my 3rd year as the principal at Nolan Elementary School. And like Dr. Looney said, we are coming out of a time where we have a lot to celebrate right now.
Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Miranda Freeman.
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate being asked to be on this panel. I love talking about South Fulton schools. This is my 1st year at Sandtown as principal of Sandtown, but I've been a principal in Fulton County. This is my 5th year as a principal. I'm looking forward to what this school year has to offer and looking forward to working with everyone.
Thank you so much. Dr. Jason Stamper.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Edwards, for having me on this evening. Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Looney and my esteemed colleagues. Been at Banneker High School for 3 years and had the pleasure of leading Woodland Middle School, which is the feeder to Banneker. So I've had the pleasure of just being in as part of this wonderful community as a principal for the last 8+ years. Really excited about sharing and the excitement of things that are going on at Banneker and in the entire community. And I share with my colleagues, just the best is yet to come. Very excited about what's going on this school year from an academic and social standpoint.
Thank you so much. Mr. Jarvis Adams.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Edwards, Mayor Edwards, for allowing me to be part of this panel. Good evening to you, Dr. Looney, and my peers, my buddies, my principal buddies. I'm at Westlake High School. I was here as an assistant principal. I was fortunate enough to go over to Camp Creek Middle School as a middle school principal, had a wonderful experience, and returned back to Westlake in 2020, February 2020. Excited to talk about the many great things that's happening here at Westlake. Definitely want to share the things that Dr. Stamper and the other high school principals and I in South Fulton collaborate on and do a lot of things together. So definitely enjoying this experience of a principal PLC and look forward to working down the chain into the middle school and elementaries as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Adams. So let's get started here. Let's start off by me asking this question. What has been the most outstanding achievement, student achievements, faculty achievements, or whatever the case may be, over the past year in your school? Let's start. Mr. Adams, you were on. Let's start with you.
So my proud moment today is we have what's called In-School Academy. And Frank McLaren is closed. They're doing some renovation for middle college. And in our In-School Academy are some students that may not always be naturally as motivated. We call it the Win Center. And today I did my stop in there and I was kind of wagging my finger saying, hey, I heard of a kid that's already earned his diploma at another high school in their In-School Academy. And I have 3 students that are on the cusp of finishing up their diploma. And so they guaranteed me, well, somebody beat us to the first, but we're going to have the first 3. And so to see that these kids have hope, they have a college tour coming up over at Atlanta Tech and Atlanta Metro, just to see the change in behavior and the change of hope. We can't measure that with CCRPI, but that's been one of the better feelings I've had in a long time working with our students.
Well, I tell you, you had some miraculous years at Westlake. I can remember when Kayla Willis left Westlake along with Mackenzie Thompson. And both of those young ladies had a well over $1 million worth of scholarship offers. And talk to me a little bit about, when I go into that school, I see these pictures on the wall and all these offers that were going to all these students. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So Westlake is a college prep school. That's just part of the culture here. The expectation is we focus on, our vision is to be recognized as a top performance high school in academics, athletics, and the arts, academics being number 1. So typically the culture is when I walk through Westlake, I'm thinking about college. I'm headed to college. And earlier I spoke about the Win Academy, those kids that couldn't get it early and so maybe fell off their path. But with that, we have a college and career counselor, and this guy is phenomenal, Mr. Sean Moore. He really works with students, putting the college out in front of them. He sends out weekly communication of scholarships. And we try to teach our kids to complete three scholarship applications a week. And so we send out a laundry list every week of scholarships. Mr. Moore, he works with them, the 11th grade teachers. We'll start working with them this year as we close out the year to complete those essays to make applying for scholarships much easier. And it's just been ingrained in the culture at Westlake. Now, the 2 that you spoke about, I think we had a large majority of our kids reach over the $500,000 mark in scholarship. And I have to give that credit to Mr. Moore and those counselors getting everything in and creating this culture of, I want my picture on the wall. I want a laundry list of colleges I've been accepted to. And I want scholarship money attached to me. So it's good, healthy competition amongst the students. There's no condemning a student that doesn't have a laundry list. But I think they all have removed the fear of applying to college and applying for scholarships. And we really pride ourselves, and it's been that way since I was here in 2013. We pride ourselves on kids going to universities for free. Okay. And my daughter graduated last year. I had to pay $600 to Florida for her to go to school down there. Everything else was covered in scholarship.
Great. That's very good. Let me get over to the elementary school a little bit. Dr. Denise Brown, talk to us about student achievements over the last couple of years.
So over the last few years, and this is my 3rd year at Nolan, so I actually became the principal 2 months before the pandemic hit and right before school shut down. So it's been a pleasure for me. We didn't have the opportunity to go through state testing during my first 2 years as the principal at Nolan, but I must say that this past year we knocked it out the park. So we were very, very intentional. We were very strategic with our instruction with our kids, even during the pandemic. We put processes in place where we could make sure that our scholars were being called in for their remote learning, that basically learning didn't stop and the processes didn't stop. The only thing that stopped at Nolan was we were not physically together in a building anymore. But I have to say, you know, I am part of a team, one part of a team that, you know, was very, very dedicated to what we were doing, believed in what we were doing, and that transferred over to our students, even during remote learning. So coming out of the pandemic, we were one of the schools in our zone, and the only elementary school in our zone that was able to achieve gains in all 3 tested subject areas, reading, math, and science. So we're really, really proud of that, proud of the balance that we were able to strike, that it wasn't just a focused concentration in one content area, because we're not just building scholars that are proficient at math or proficient at reading. We're trying to put productive citizens out there that are well balanced in all of the different subject areas, because then that gives them diversity. It gives them the opportunity to be able to choose whatever path they want to. So we are extremely proud of the work that we've done with our scholars coming out of the pandemic.
Good, thank you so much. Miranda Freeman, same question, talk to us about student achievement.
So this is my first year at Sandtown Middle School, and we're just getting started. So I've only been here since June. I will say one of the accomplishments that we've had so far is that we just had some students recognized for graduating from Juilliard this summer. Joshua Williams and Kevin Oliver, they started their career in music here at Sandtown, and they are actually best friends. So that was an honor to see them graduate from Juilliard, and knowing that they started their relationship and their love for music here at Sandtown Middle School. We also have a strong TSA program that kind of cultivates engineering and technology with our students. And we've had some students that have placed statewide this summer for their engineering practices in TSA. So we're looking to do great things here at Sandtown. I can't wait to see what our kids have to offer.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go over to Trojan country. Dr. Stanford, talk to us about student achievement over the last couple of years.
Sir, so you know, I was really just excited to hear about like all the things that in our peers and our sister schools that Jarvis and I at Westlake and like all the South Fulton schools, we talk all the time, and so it brings me no greater joy to hear like his WIN program is going well in ISA. We too have the ISA program. Now, you know, competitive. You know, Jarvis talking about us. We did have the first graduate.
I kind of figured that the way you were laughing.
No, but I'm excited about just the success of the program, because as I look at the Langstons, the Tri-Cities, the Creekside, the Westlake, and the Banneker, like those kids, in terms of the in-school academy, will be considered quote unquote maybe the least of these, or those students that cannot learn, and they've had wild success in the inception of the program this year. And we actually have 2 graduates now. So Jarvis, I'm gonna one up on you. I'm gonna get you to 3 now. But I think with those students, what I wanted to highlight is the graduation rate at Banneker High School last year. We hit historic heights, the highest in school history with our graduation rate. And, you know, I know it hasn't come out this year, but our preliminary calculations it'll be even higher. Then I'm looking for even higher next year, because it's about getting kids in position to be successful in life. At the end of the day, we want students to graduate at a high rate so they be able to start the next chapter of their lives, whatever that may be, whatever post-secondary options that they choose. So that's why I get excited. And I know that's why Jarvis gets excited about the kids in school academy, because those are the students we don't want those students. We want to leave no students behind, and we want to be sure that we put them in prime position to be successful. The first month of this current school year, we have 27 students in our in-school academy that were what we call overage and undercredited, and every student completed at least 1 course in that first month. Those kids, they get in. I love the collegiality around. They play this excerpt from DJ Khaled every time they complete a class. It says another one, and so they cheer for each other, and they've developed this level of support for one another. You go in, it doesn't look like and it should not. It doesn't look like a traditional classroom. It's this large space. It has sofas in there. It has chairs, it has desks. You see them sitting on the floor. They work, and they've found really their niche in their place where they can be successful. So I'm really, really excited about that. So while we have this graduation rate on the uptick, I know we're going to see even greater numbers and greater successes for our students. So I'm really excited about the announcement of that, and I'm excited about what they have achieved, because sometimes students don't realize that they can do it until they actually do it, and then you highlight that. So I'm excited for them as well.
Okay, Dr. Looney, you've heard from your principals, kind of tie everything into the vision that you have for the school system as a whole.
Well, I will say this: we have some of the best leaders in the country, and the work that they're doing is enormous. It's extremely important. And despite all the things that we've gone through, one thing that I see as the CEO of this district, and so too do our school board members, by the way, they're extremely impressed with the work our leaders and folks are doing in the trenches, is that we've had a really, really optimistic and positive start of the year. Now, with that being said, everything's not perfect. We have backlogs in some of our supply chain with computers and textbooks and that sort of thing. But despite all that, our leaders in the buildings and their staff members have really leaned in, and we are making great progress. In the very near future, we'll be allowed to share some of the state data, such as SAT, ACT, and more information about milestones. And what we know is everybody has said that this is a new baseline year when looking at that data, because the last 2 years, either we didn't test or participation rates were extremely low. And quite frankly, a lot of students didn't try as hard as they normally would because of the experiences with COVID. But I'm excited to say that I think we're going to see a positive trend moving forward, including last year's data. But that extends beyond just like academic achievement. We have students that are graduating with 2-year degrees and high school diplomas at the same time. We have thousands of students in all of our schools across the area that are taking college classes at the same time. They're taking high school classes. Our elementary teachers and students are learning at profound rates and accelerating their learning. But we're also focused on other things that aren't on tests. Focusing on the social emotional needs of our students, making sure that they have the supports they need, focusing more on the whole child. How do we provide balance to children and their families? And this is sad to say, but in this, this kind of crazy world that we're living in right now, at the same time, focusing on school safety, because that's at the forefront of everybody's mind. Mm-hmm. So I have nothing but positive things to say about our school leaders and our teachers in Fulton County Schools. And these ladies and gentlemen that you have on the show tonight are a small sampling of all the good things that are happening, the good leadership that's taking place.
Thank you so much, Dr. Looney. That's one reason why we have shows like this, because other things get out in the paper and on Facebook, on Nextdoor and Twitter and whatever the media may be, that aren't absolutely the truth. And I think people need to hear about the great things that we're doing in school.
Edwards, we have a question from Facebook.
Yes.
What will the school system do to help students that do not have resources to move forward in a positive way?
Dr. Looney, did you hear that one?
Yes, sir, I did. But I will tell you, every school in our district has leveraged the resources that they have been given by the local taxpayers, by the federal government through the ESSER plan. We've created a bridge plan that has all kinds of opportunities for students that are being challenged academically, socially, emotionally. And so every school, it looks a little bit different because every community is different. And so I'll lean on my colleagues to provide a little bit more detail, but I will say this: all of the information about our bridge plan and the resources that are available across the school district are available on the Fulton County Schools website. So I would encourage folks to go there, or ask your school board member, because your school board members have been leaning in. They've been holding myself and my staff accountable for producing results and making sure that we're using the taxpayers' money wisely to the benefit of students.
Okay, Dolores, do we have another one?
We do have another question. Will the truancy program be re-implemented?
So it's funny that you asked that question. I will give you a news flash. I've asked the school board to create an attendance office that focuses on student attendance and truancy. And I have been working with the juvenile courts and the district attorney's office to put together a proactive plan, very similar to what our good mayor established in the city of South Fulton many years ago. So we have an attendance problem across the district, or I should say attendance challenges across the district. And so we're taking the learnings that we've had and trying to grow it into a larger form and put some serious focus on attendance and truancy.
You know, when I established that program years ago, one thing I could tell you that happened immediately, home burglaries in our city went down 18%. And it was not just a program where we picked kids up, but we had qualified counselors there to talk to both the parents and the kids. So I'll be looking forward to seeing, and let me know how I can help in any way to do that. Now, let me get back one moment. This is 2022 now. So let me get back to my principles and ask this question. What is at the end of 2022, what is your top 2 priorities that you think you would want to accomplish by the end of this year? And I can start with, if you don't want to start with yourself, I can start with Miranda. Miss Miranda Freeman.
Thank you for asking that question. My 2 top priorities for Sandtown is to make sure that our kids are in a safe environment and that they are achieving at high levels. One of the things that we are working on, several things that we're working on at Sandtown is making sure that our kids understand how to work through conflict with our school counselors, with our parents, with our administrators. And that helps keep us safe. And we also want to make sure that we hold everyone accountable for any safety concerns that we have at the school. The other thing that we're working on is making sure that we're providing support for our scholars who need that extra attention in academics. So like today we had free math tutorials right after school for those students who wanted to stay for math. They could stay and work with their math teacher on any content within math that they needed support in. And each day we have free tutorials for each content area, Monday through Thursday. So I'm hoping that our kids and staff are safe each day by the end of this year, and that we have a strong academic program that helps move kids forward.
Well, at Sandtown, you have a great community behind you.
Yes, we do. I love it here.
Yeah, that's one of the better communities that I know of, even when I was commissioner. So you have a great force behind you. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about the same thing. Dr. Denise Brown, what do you feel 2 top priorities you would have achieved by the end of the school year?
So, that's something that I think about all the time. At the elementary level, what we prioritize is the establishment of relationships. It sounds very simple in the way that I'm going to describe it, but it's something that is extremely powerful. Myself and the staff, we spend each day, every morning, we're out in the hallways and we're greeting students with something simple as hello, good morning. How are you? Because that gives us the opportunity to be able to start that conversation. We don't know exactly where our students may be coming from, what situations they may or challenges they may have faced, before they come to us. But it speaks to what Miranda was saying, is it creates that open, positive culture where the students do feel safe, so that they have the opportunity to be able to talk to whatever staff member, they feel most comfortable with, to share what's going on. And it also allows us to be able to serve their social, emotional needs, in kind of more of a non-threatening manner. So, we start off each day with a morning circle. Every class, they circle up for 15, 20 minutes of the day. They talk about a character trait. They talk about, relationship building, and they simply do just go around the circle and say hello to each other. They pay each other compliments, things like that. So it really does help to build not only a building-wide culture, but also smaller classroom cultures. And then, of course, at the elementary level, because we like to pride ourselves on being the foundation of everybody that's around us. But, you know, our focus is definitely on literacy. We want to make sure that our scholars are able to read. So we have a cohort of students that we started off last year with kindergarten, where we had 95% of them ready when it came to their phonics assessments, ready for first grade. So we are making sure that as we're going through our 3-year plan with increasing literacy across the district, that we are building scholars, we're building readers, you know, as we go along. So we want to make sure that we're doing our part, that as we send them to Miranda and as we send them to Jason, you know, and Jarvis, that they're coming as ready as they can possibly be.
That's great. Mr. Stamper, I see you already here. So what are your comments on that as a high school principal? What are your top 2 priorities that you should have at the end of the school year that you're going to focus on?
So definitely, and I think this is what everyone's kind of focus, definitely safety. Like we want students and parents to feel as though in reality that they're sending their students to a school in a safe place. So, you know, those beyond like just the surface level things, but really digging deep into making sure kids have access to a Fulton County tip line, making sure that they know how to go through drills, what the processes and procedures are, but also having eyes and ears in places and doing those things that lend to safety. My second one kind of intertwines with that is based on growth. And as Dr. Brown said, I know that sounds simple, but I have this saying with my staff and students and parents, you know, every student that comes to Banneker High School will grow every day, whether it's academically or socially. We're not going to send them back to you the same way you sent them to us. They want to get better. And parents don't want their children to come home the same way. They want them to grow. They want them to grow in the areas of literacy and numeracy, but also they want them to grow socially. High school and life in general, but high school specifically is about preparing students to go to that next level in terms of life. And they have to grow socially and know what the proper means of savings are, and financial literacy, and how to deal with conflict appropriately, how to have coping mechanisms and things of that sort. And so that's what our goal is, to grow every student every day. I know a parent asked a question about resources that we have in place for kids that are lacking. And Fulton County has invested in Banneker as well as 2 other high schools in terms of a safe center. And that's where we allow our kids to grow from a social standpoint. We have mental health counselors there, and we have food distributions every Friday to deal with food scarcity. We have a clothing closet to deal with clothing scarcity, school supplies, and those things. Because when you eliminate those suboptimal conditions that kids experience, it allows them to grow. And that's what we focus on, that, again, academic and social growth every day. So kids are just going well.
Thank you, Jason. Really, and now, Mr. Jarvis Adams, talk to us about your priorities and what you're looking to have achieved by the end of the year.
All right, so 2 things, and I hate to steal everyone's thunder, but safety is truly our #1 priority. And safe, to keep the building secure, everyone feeling safe, but safe for students to voice their opinion, voice their concerns, a safe space for students to express themselves. So we're doing a lot around drills and making sure everyone understands drills, but we're also doing a lot around school spirit to make this an enjoyable place to come, so we can build those relationships, and those relationships lend to a safer school. Secondly, our mission talks a lot about connecting students with their passions. And a lot of our kids' passions are in CTAE. So we are working with Atlanta Tech, where we are bridging our 3rd year of our pathway as dual enrollment. We're including dual enrollment within our CTAE. This year, we have a cohort of students where Atlanta Tech comes into our building. They're teaching students graphic design, and they're going to receive a certificate. They're going to complete their pathway certificate with Atlanta Tech. It's an intro in media production specialist. They'll walk across stage with a Westlake diploma and a Atlanta Tech technical college certificate. And so what my goal is with this is to go ahead and tie this in with our healthcare science. So next year we'll offer phlebotomy, dental assistant, pharmacy tech, I think we have 5 things that we may offer if it makes. And the same thing with film and our TV video broadcasting classes. So that's going to be a major success for me once we're able to connect more of our students through dual enrollment, through our CTAE pathways, continue having Atlanta Tech teach inside of our building. So that removes the barrier of transportation from our families. And we're also able to schedule it in the student schedule. Just like right now we do it during second period, 2A and 2B. So it doesn't impact if they want to take IB courses, they want to take AP courses, or if they want to go to Georgia State or Georgia Military for their core classes dual enrollment. So it doesn't take away from our program, it only enhances what we do. And so the more we solidify that college and career readiness here at Westlake, that is the big goal, is to keep that partnership with Atlanta Tech going.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adams. Before we go to Dr. Looney, I have one question, Dolores.
Is bridge an acronym?
Is bridge an acronym?
No, BRIDGES.
Yes. What does it stand for? Because I'm going to talk to you about
We're building a bridge between where we were during COVID and the future.
Okay. Glad you on now, Dr. Looney, because I want to talk to you about, we always talk about student involvement and talk about the involvement of our educators, administrators, and faculties and staff. What has been the parental participation, and presuming that maybe it's low, what are we doing as a school board to try to increase the participation of parents in their schools?
Yeah, so we believe that, you know, the key to success, academic success of our students is building relationships. And you'll hear all of our leaders talking about relationship building. That's true of our adults that support students outside of school, whether it's grandmother, grandfather, uncle or aunt, you know, big sister, mom and dad. So many of our students live in unique household settings these days compared to, you know, back in the Hazy and Ariat days where everybody had a mom and dad lived at home and worked 2 jobs. So our kids are in a different environment. So we're finding unique ways to engage our parents. I wouldn't say that our parent involvement is low. I would say that our parents are very, very busy, and we have to continue to look for new ways to engage our parents. This is a perfect example of the new type of thinking that we have to do. We have learned as a result of COVID that we can have community meetings, forums, parent PTO meetings that are hybrid, that, you know, are face-to-face in the traditional sense, but at the same time are being operated in a virtual environment so people can engage with us because they have busy lives. I'm sitting in North Atlanta, city of Sandy Springs right now, and I was able to work and continue working, but still participate in this great discussion. So that's an example of how we need to think about things differently, and our school leaders are doing that. You know, our Board of Education has invested in resources to make sure that we have good connectivity. We have something else that we borrowed from you, former Mayor Edwards, is we have a parent university where we have a website off of our main website where parents can go and get information about how to secure their home router and how to secure their children's devices. And so I think it's about using technology and thinking about engagement in different ways. Of course, we will always say we don't have enough engagement, right? Because it takes a village to do this work. It really does. So we have parents that I would say are eager and maybe even at times overly engaged, if that's possible. And then we have parents that just just can't because their lives are too busy and full of other things. And so we take what we can get from our parents. I think the request that I would make to your viewing audience and listeners would be this: find a way to plug in, even if it's not coming to the schoolhouse door, even if it's, you know, on the ball field on Friday night, or if it's in the neighborhood where there's school age kids that need tutoring, or are hanging out at McDonald's during the day when we good well know that they should be in the schoolhouse. And I think us having collective accountability as a broader community will get the kind of engagement that we're looking for.
Well, I tell you that you mentioned 2 programs that I started. I guess I should have trademarked them or something, and then you've probably been paying me right now.
Well, we would be, but since you didn't, we're just taking it for free.
Let me go back to some of the principals on that same question, how they feel on a local basis. Let's start with Jason. Talk to me about parent participation, and what are you doing if it's bad to make it better?
So I think to Dr. Looney's point, like this way of COVID gave us a lot of negative things that, obviously we know all of those, but I think we learned so much about how we can reach people in new ways, in exciting ways, in innovative ways. And this is one of the innovative ways through virtual meetings. We do engage our parents in virtual meetings, but one of the things that I was excited to get back to this year is actually having PTA meetings and parent meetings in our parent communities. We have very good relationships with a lot of our housing complexes and apartment complexes, and they have multi-purpose facilities that we just come in, we feed the parents, and we just have a good time talking. At the end of the day, to Dr. Looney's point, our parents, they're not non-responsive. They're busy, like they're trying to get a kid at bath, with elementary kid here, and move this kid has this. So we come to them and and we're bringing food, and you don't have to worry about dinner. It just makes all the difference in the world. It also helps you to forge those aforementioned relationships that you talked about. Is this a very liberating kind of cool thing to just hang out and know that we're there for you and you're there for us, and we have this partnership.
Good. Dr. Brown, talk to me a little bit about this same question. What are you doing if you have an issue with parent participation, high or low? What are you doing to make sure that you get what you need?
Well, one of the things is to make sure that as a school, because we never know, some parents, their lack of involvement, or it could be due to time. It could be because maybe they have not had great experiences with schools in the past. And that may be what shies them away from being able to come in. So we try to make sure that we provide a Chick-fil-A mentality when it comes to our customer service, and making sure that our parents, feel welcome, that we're responsive to their needs, that we're listening to what it is that they're asking of us to do, and trying to adjust our processes accordingly. One of the things that I was kind of shocked at myself, we had curriculum night a few weeks ago, but I was extremely excited about the opportunity of having families come into the building and be able to engage with us in a manner that we have not had, for the past few years. So we had a very well planned out, thought out evening for the parents, where we gave them an overview, much like what we're doing right now, talked about the things that were going on in the school that have been successful, asked for their help and support so that we can continue to move forward. And then we moved them into the classrooms where parents were able to go through a rotation, and we called it Be an Owl. So our grade level teams actually took parents through a lesson. Dr. Looney, you would have liked this. We had parents that were going through Haggerty lessons, which is our phonics program. So we had parents simulating the same thing that their scholars would do in the classroom on a day. And it was, it was funny in some regards, because the parents were getting a kick out of it, and you could see them, nudging their scholars on the side. You're supposed to be doing this too, that kind of thing. So being able to have that connection and have that opportunity for our parents to really see what we're doing inside the building. There's not something top secret that's going on. We're here, for their scholars. So I think that's great. And I'm looking forward to being able to have more opportunities like that. We have literacy night that's coming up in October. So we'll be able to have the same level of engagement.
Great things. Ms. Freeman, Ms. Miranda Freeman. Same question.
Yes. So we have a strong community here in Sandtown, like you said, former Mayor Bill Edwards. But to Dr. Looney's point too, volunteerism looks different depending on what parents can offer. So there's not been a request that I've sent out to my parents that they have not responded to, whether it's showing up at the school, giving their time, or sending resources. One of the things that we wanted to make sure this year is that we rewarded all of our students who were doing the things that we needed them to do and showing positive behavior. So I sent out a request to parents for snacks and treats and anything else that we could reward our students with. And it came in by the pounds, the amount of stuff that our parents and our community did for us. So as you know, in our community, we have a strong presence for our parents. There's not been a meeting that we've had face-to-face that hasn't been over 100+ parents that have been present face-to-face. We have curriculum night tomorrow, so I'm looking for the same turnout that we've had in all of our face-to-face programs, but our parents are participating in the ways that they can. So either they do pop-up visits with their kids, make sure that they're on task, or they come in and do a classroom observation, or they just stop by and give us gift cards like, here, thank you for all that you do. So I appreciate the parents that I serve in this community and the students that I serve in this community.
Thank you so much. Great job. Mr. Adams?
So I serve the same community as Miranda, and I pretty much ditto everything she says. There has not been anything I've asked for that I haven't received. Very supportive community. What our challenge at Westlake is ensuring that our customer service is Chick-fil-A like. And so what we're working on is making sure that we listen first, take everything in. Maybe we respond now, maybe we say, give us some think time and work on a solution, and then we have to follow up. And that's where we are. We're a large school. We have a lot of things can go wrong, and sometimes things do go wrong. But we ask parents to give us an opportunity to fix it. And we do, for the most part, we get them. Some things get away from us, but we're able to bring it back and keep those relationships with our family. But our participation is great. We have a goal for PTA. We want 1,200 PTA members. And I'm confident, we'll have it by November. We have a building full of parents right now. I have some in the auditorium, just about full, and I have some in the gym for a volleyball match. And so parents are constantly up here supporting their students, supporting us wherever we ask. So we're just fortunate to serve such a great community.
Okay. We have another question Dolores has from a listener.
How effective is the School Governance Council?
How effective is the School Governance Council?
So I'll start out. I think the School Governance Council is very effective. It ties us into what the community wants. We serve a community. Now, we have educational ideas and expertise and things that we desire, but it's good to hear from the community as a sounding board, as a thought partner. And then it's good to hear exactly what it is that they want and to see the collaboration between the PTA and the School Governance Council to get a greater understanding of what the community expects from us. So I would say they're highly effective.
Okay. Dr. Stamper.
So I concur with Jarvis or Principal Adams on this. This is a joy to work with my SGC, and sometimes we get into this mode that we want people to just, okay, we want to do this, okay, we agree. We have strivings, so and it's okay to strive with one another. We have a common goal to get to what's best with students and families, and we have just been able to do some phenomenal things from a collaboration standpoint with our SGC, because you have representation from the communities, from parents, from students. I know our students are involved from a high school standpoint with the SGC, and you get it so many different perspectives, because sometimes we get into this mode of we know what's best, all right? And when you don't hear those other voices, that's when it can get a little etchy. But again, just love working with my SGC in that capacity.
Okay. Ms. Freeman, could you expound on that a little bit for us, please?
Sure. I agree with my colleagues. I enjoy working with my SGC. I'm fortunate this year to be working with an SGC chair where our kids were in kindergarten together. And I was their principal all the way through 5th grade. And now when I come to Sandtown, the parent is now my SGC chair. She was before I got here. It's been a great experience. And like, I don't know who said this, Principal Adams or Dr. Stamper, SGC gives us insight to what the community is feeling and what the community needs, more so than we are able to see when we're just in our building. So what our SGC does is they help us provide resources for our teachers. Our teachers get a chance to kind of do presentations to our SGC of things that they need to help build in their classrooms or enhance the learning for our students. And our SGC gets to see how we are using the resources that they're providing to support our student achievement. So I think the partnership that we have is wonderful, and I look forward to continuing it.
Great, great. We'll go to Dr. Brown. Did we get you? I want to make sure I get your comments.
Sure. So mine may not be as politically correct as my colleague Miranda just stated, but we truly do appreciate the extra funding that we are able to receive from our SGC. And, you know, it does speak to the fact that our council is made up of teachers as well as community members. And just to be able to hear the voices of how they would like to help support you know, the programming that goes on at the school. We actually have an initiative that we're doing this year coming up. We have the allocation of some safety dollars. So having discussions with the SGC about how we can enhance safety in the building, you know, with those funds that we're receiving. And then we also have our charter expenditures, because some of the programming that we have focused on, now the district is taking care of those resources as far as it comes to literacy and technology. So we're having conversations as a council with how can we enhance our fine arts department. Unfortunately, at the elementary level, that's not something that we, you know, have a lot of funding for, that we put a lot of focus on, but we want to be able to do like a grant writing type of opportunity for our art, music, PE and media and our STEM teachers to be able to present proposals to the governance council about why they should be awarded a certain amount of funds, what they're going to do with it, how it's going to impact student achievement, that kind of thing. So I like that at our level, it allows us to be able to have that diversity so that we can support some of our non-content area programming. That's just as important for growing our scholars as the content areas.
Right. That's very good. Dr. Looney, you've heard from your principals individually on this matter or this issue or this question. From a global perspective, from a larger perspective, from a school board entirety, what is your opinion?
Well, I think the concept, the principle of having a school governance council is well thought out. But let's be honest, it's complicated, right? And so if people that end up serving on the SGC are willing to check their egos at the door and remember that our business is doing what's best for kids, and we all focus on that, then SGCs can be a great asset to school administration and supporting schools. In some cases, that's not the case. Sometimes we have, like all families do, sometimes there's push and tug and disagreement. And we have some SGCs that are very high functioning, and we have some that still have some growing to do. But I will say involving parents and stakeholders in educational decisions is a very important attribute of successful districts. And so we continue to lean in on this issue. We have put some systems in place to support SGCs in improving how they function. But it really takes adults. I've been doing this as a superintendent. This is my 18th year as a superintendent. So I've had the benefit of seeing a lot of different configurations. SGCs are an extremely powerful tool when they work. When they're dysfunctional, they can be extremely distracting. And so, you know, I think it's incumbent upon all of us when we're thinking about running for SGC and us as school leaders to try to make sure that even we check our egos at the door and try to focus on what's best for kids.
Okay. As we wind down our show, I would like to, at this time, starting with you, Dr. Looney, just give me a minute or so of your closing remarks on any subject you want to talk upon, but just your closing remarks.
Well, thank you for the time. Thank you for your listeners. Thank you to our school leaders that took time out of their schedules. Principal Adams has 2 events happening in a school. He still took the time out for this, and I know the rest of you probably do as well. we are in a state of transformation in Fulton County Schools. And I have never been more optimistic about public education than I am today. I am amazed at how our students, staff members, and school leaders are rebounding from a pretty traumatic couple of years. And, I was determined, as the school board was, to do something that was transformational as a result of our experience. And we are on the path to get there. And I am just profoundly grateful for our school leaders and their staff members.
Okay, and thank you so much for being a part, Dr. Looney. Same thing with Dr. Denise Brown. Give us a closing remark as we head to the end of our program.
So I would just like to take a minute on a personal note and thank all of my principal colleagues that are here. Many what may not know is that I have been mentored at various stages of my career with Fulton County by every individual that's on this call, starting with Ms. Freeman, who became my mentor when I was first appointed as an assistant principal, Jarvis Adams, who was at my neighboring middle school when I was the assistant principal at Seaborn Lee. And now I'm under the tutelage of Dr. Jason Stamper, being a part of the Zone 1 Banneker cluster. So, for me, being able to be in the presence of so many individuals and leaders within Fulton who are extremely capable of what they're doing, and knowing that there is no hesitation or shame to be able to bring other leaders up, through the ranks as well. It makes the district even stronger as it is. So, for all of the work that we're doing when it comes to student achievement, we also have to look at the part that, as a Fulton family, we do take care of each other when it comes to our leadership. So I'm very appreciative of all the individuals here. And of course, Dr. Looney for giving me the opportunity, because, I had to go through my interview process with him as well to be able to be where I am.
Thank you so much. Ms. Freeman?
I would just like to say thank you for this opportunity. I have been in South Fulton schools since 2010, and I can't imagine working in any other area. This is South Fulton has so many I've built so many warm relationships here. As I listen to Dr. Brown talk just to see how much she's grown since we first met. I mean, we've all grown, but I'm just so proud of seeing you, and she's doing such an awesome job. So I love being a part of South Fulton and Fulton County Schools, and I just thank you for the opportunity to lead in these communities that I've been in.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go to Dr. Jason Stamper.
Just want to echo, of course, the sentiments of Dr. Looney with the wonderful leaders that are in Fulton County and my colleagues that are on now. The best is yet to come for South Fulton, for Fulton County as a whole. It's just, we've just begun to scratch the surface. So I'm so excited about this school year, next school year, the year after that. Come and understand everybody. Come check us out. Like, sometimes we can hear things going on. We hear things positive or negative. Come check us out and see firsthand. You'll be impressed. I promise you. And that's any school. Just again, honored to be a part of the program. Thank you, Mayor Edwards, for inviting me. Thank you, just for having me on. Okay,
thank you so much. I know this man got two meetings going on. So Jarvis.
All right. So Mayor Edwards, I can never thank you enough for what you've done for Westlake High School. From the time I came here in 2013, I remember the first time I asked, we needed some state championship rings for the track team. You paid for those rings. We needed the stadium painted. You bought the paint, and you've always been there with us. I know when we came out in COVID, we needed a venue for graduation, and you were still there with us. So I forever appreciate your service to us and the things that you've done to make Westlake a great place to work. To my colleagues, my leader, Dr. Looney, definitely appreciate this opportunity to continue to serve the city of South Fulton under your leadership. Definitely like the direction you're going with the tardies, the centralized enrollment. And I love the fact that we are focused on safety and order. And I think without those two things, there's no way we can educate our students the way that we need to be, and that what they deserve. So my hat goes off to you for putting that priority, putting a stamp on it, to make sure that that is our focus, safety in order first. And Dr. Stamper is my buddy. He's part of our principal PLC. And, you know, we collaborate so much on everything. I'm eternally grateful for him. And Ms. Freeman and Ms. Brown are kind of my role models. You know, they're always so cool and poised. I definitely am honored to be on a call with those two great individuals there. And I don't know if I mentored Dr. Brown or just tried to step up to her game.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jason. And once again, thank you to each and every one of you. I know that you all had a hectic work day today, but you stayed around to do the show. Let me emphasize to you once again, all of those who are hearing, we never get to hear about the good things that are happening like in places like our schools. Here is shortage of bus drivers, challenge for getting qualified teachers, fights in the schools, threats of gang violence, mental health problems, drugs in our schools, on and on and on. But as in light of all of that, there are some good and exciting things going on, ladies and gentlemen. Not just only with our students, but these brave, courageous people like Dr. Denise Brown, Ms. Miranda Freeman, Dr. Jason Stamper, Mr. Jarvis Adams, and last but not least, our Superintendent, Mike Looney, who are standing in the gap each and every day because they're about student achievement. And I want to continue to do these things and continue to bring information to you that is positive information. You're going to get the bad information every day. I don't worry about that. You know, as long as there's Twitter and Nextdoor and all this stuff, you'll get all the bad stuff. But you got to kind of balance it off because there are really good things that are happening. And I can tell you, I've been working with the school for many, many years. I've seen many, many kids graduating who have gone on to excel. All of my kids were products of Fulton County school system. And all of them are professionals. And I appreciate that. So we're going to stand up. See, let me tell you this. You can always bring your opinions, but you can't bring your facts. The facts are what it is. And what we're trying to do is let you all understand that yes, bad things may happen to a school every now and then, and it may not be a school in our city. It may not be a school in our state. But believe me, these people that you heard today are standing in the midst, making it right, doing what they can to make sure that we have outstanding citizens come out of the school system, outstanding parents that come out of the school system. And one day, the same kids that you see walking down the street will be operating on you. I will be with you in the jailhouse even, be with you in the courthouse. This is our future. Remember, you can't write us off. I'm glad that people like Mr. Looney do not accept the fact that you write us off. And if you attempt to write us off, I'm gonna leave you with this. If you write us off, know that we will not write you back. Have a great evening. Have a great evening. Thanks to each and every one of you. God bless you. And thanks to, one thing before I go, let me give a shout out to two great people, Kim Dove and Francesca Warren. Our school board representatives in this area they do a phenomenal job. When you call them, they call you back. I think Francesca's up every morning walking, and she's doing a live broadcast while she's walking. And that's the kind of dedication we have. So I want to make sure that I could not leave this show without saying something positive about Miss Kim Dove and Miss Francesca Warren. Stay tuned in the future for our next episode of WCEG for Wisdom Wednesdays. Thank you all so much. We love you.